during the winter of 1834. 12 nuns residing at the Sacred Heart Convent in rural Ohio passed away within a 2-day period. None exhibited any symptoms of sickness, harm, or anguish. The youngest was 23. The eldest was 47. Each was discovered in her bed, hands clasped as if in prayer. Their faces so serene, it seemed they had willingly drifted from this life. The local doctor, Samuel Hartwell, inspected each nun and concluded they had all been in excellent health when they died. No evidence of poison was discovered, no indication of foul play was identified, and no sickness was present. For almost 200 years, the Catholic Church has kept the records detailing the true events at Sacred Heart locked within its archives. However, recently unearthed letters and accounts from that dreadful winter reveal a reality far more unsettling than any paranormal theory could be. Before we proceed with the account of Sacred Heart Convent, be advised that this channel is not suited for all viewers. It is only for the most courageous individuals who are willing to expose the dark truths history has attempted to conceal. If you possess the fortitude to learn what truly occurred in that remote convent, click subscribe and tell me in the comments which state or city you are in. Not many channels have the boldness to share the kinds of accounts we present here. And if you have watched thus far, you are obviously unlike the average person. Now, let us jointly uncover what caused 12 healthy women to perish over 2 winter days. The occurrences at Sacred Heart would stay concealed for generations. Yet the truth inevitably emerges, particularly when documented by someone who experienced the terror firsthand. The Sacred Heart Convent was situated on 47 acres of undulating farmland in southeastern Ohio, about 12 miles from the tiny town of Millbrook. Founded in 1821 by the Sisters of Mercy, the convent was established to minister to the expanding Catholic community of German and Irish immigrants who had moved to the area after the Ohio and Erie Canal was finished. The 2-story brick structure, with its unique bell tower and iron crosses, served as a symbol of faith in an area mostly populated by Protestants, where Catholic newcomers were often regarded with mistrust and occasionally outright antagonism. Mother Superior Catherine Brennan had been in charge since 1828, governing the 17 nuns who lived at Sacred Heart with a strict yet compassionate manner. The sisters sustained themselves by farming, instructing at the small school they ran for local Catholic children, and selling needlework to households in Millbrook and nearby farms. By every report, they led quiet, pious lives that did not disturb their Protestant neighbors. The winter of 1834 was unusually severe. Snow had been falling continuously since November, and by January, the drifts nearly reached the convent's first floor windows. The sisters had made thorough preparations for the cold season, with their root cellar filled with preserved vegetables, their pantry stocked with grain, and their woodshed full of split oak and maple. They had endured tough winters previously, and this one appeared no more severe than the others. Sister Mary Agnes, 26 years old, and hailing from County Cork, Ireland, acted as the convent scribe, keeping thorough records of daily events, weather patterns, and the spiritual development of the group. Her detailed logs, found in a sealed wooden box under the convent's floorboards during 1923 renovations, offer the sole eyewitness narrative of the final days. Her typically orderly and exact penmanship grows progressively more unsteady as the entries continue, with the last pages displaying obvious signs of agitation, shaky writing, words scratched out, and what looked like tear marks on the paper. Among the sisters at Sacred Heart, a few were notable for their exceptional devotion and specific roles within the group. Sister Mary Catherine, the youngest at 23, had entered the convent just 2 years before, after her whole family perished in a Cincinnati cholera epidemic. She was celebrated for her lovely singing voice, which resonated through the halls during evening prayers. Sister Mary Elizabeth, 34, worked as the convent's herbalist and healer, having acquired knowledge of plant-based remedies from her grandmother in Bavaria. Sister Mary Margaret, 41, was the convent's treasurer and handled their limited funds with a sharp acumen that had aided their survival through the economic hardships of the early 1830s. The convent adhered to the rigid schedule of canonical hours, with the sisters rising at 4 a.m. for matins and prime, followed by Mass at dawn. They ate a simple breakfast of porridge and bread before attending to their various tasks of teaching, farming, cooking, cleaning, and prayer. Dinner was at noon, followed by additional work and study. Vespers occurred at sunset, and at 8 p.m. signaled the start of the great silence that lasted until morning prayers. The building itself was designed for the practical requirements of a religious order. The first floor included the chapel, refectory, kitchen, and the Mother Superior's office. The second floor contained the dormitory-style cells where the sisters slept, each furnished with only a narrow bed, a small wooden crucifix, and a wash basin. The basement housed the root cellar, laundry facilities, and a modest library where the sisters could study religious works and manage their correspondence. What set Sacred Heart apart from other convents of its era was its seclusion. The closest neighbor was 3 miles away, and the route to Millbrook was often blocked during heavy snowfalls. This isolation, which the sisters had always considered a benefit that let them concentrate fully on their spiritual responsibilities, would turn out to be a key element in the impending disaster. The initial indication that something was wrong came on the morning of January 15, 1834. Sister Mary Agnes recorded in her daily log that Sister Mary Catherine had been absent from matins, an unheard-of event for the young nun, who was renowned for her punctuality and devotion. When Mother Superior Brennan went to investigate, she found Sister Mary Catherine resting peacefully in her bed, her rosary still held in her hands, her lips formed into what looked like a soft smile. Dr. Samuel Hartwell, the Protestant physician from Millbrook, undertook the difficult trip through the snowdrifts to inspect the body. A scientific man skeptical of Catholic customs, Dr. Hartwell nevertheless honored his oath and performed a comprehensive examination. His report, kept in the Millbrook Township records, describes his observations with medical exactness. The deceased shows no signs of violence, poisoning, or disease. Her complexion is healthy. Her limbs show no rigidity beyond what is normal for recent death, and her eyes are clear. I can detect no cause of death through physical examination. What troubled Dr. Hartwell most was the absence of findings. Sister Mary Catherine seemed to be in ideal health at her time of death. Her heart was sound, her lungs were clear, and her blood indicated no disease. When he asked the other sisters about her conduct in the days before her death, they only mentioned that she had seemed more tranquil than usual, dedicating additional time to prayer, and frequently talking about feeling blessed and selected. The funeral was conducted 2 days later, on January 17th, with the entire convent community in attendance. Father Timothy O'Brien, the circuit priest who visited Sacred Heart monthly, had been called from his parish in Lancaster to administer the last rites. The snow had kept falling steadily, and the cemetery behind the convent was covered in white, with only the iron crosses on previous sisters' graves visible above the drifts. Sister Mary Agnes noted that the funeral was conducted normally, with the sisters singing hymns, and praying for their lost sister's soul. But she also recorded something that would later seem prophetic. Several sisters remarked on how peaceful Sister Mary Catherine appeared, how she seemed to be smiling, even in death. Sister Mary Elizabeth commented that she envied the peace she had found. Sister Mary Margaret mentioned that she, too, had been dreaming of angels calling her home. The next morning, January 18th, Sister Mary Elizabeth was absent from Matins. Mother Superior, Brennan, now extremely worried, found the herbalist in her bed positioned exactly like Sister Mary Catherine had been, hands folded, rosary gripped, with the same unexplainable smile on her lips. The sight filled the Mother Superior with an inexplicable dread. This was no chance event or natural death. Something was gravely wrong at Sacred Heart Convent. Dr. Hartwell made the return journey through the snow, his horse fighting against the drifts that had grown deeper overnight. His second examination produced the same baffling outcome. Sister Mary Elizabeth, like the first, showed no symptoms of sickness or harm. Her stocks of medicinal herbs were checked for possible poisons, but nothing was found. The doctor's notes from this visit reveal mounting frustration. I am baffled by these deaths. Both women appear to have simply stopped living, as if they had chosen to depart this world of their own volition. The remaining sisters assembled in the chapel that evening for an urgent prayer session. Mother Superior Brennan led them in reciting the rosary, but Sister Mary Agnes observed that the familiar words seemed to linger heavily in the air, as if the convent's very atmosphere had shifted. She wrote, "There is something in the air here, something that makes the hair on one's arms stand up. The other sisters feel it too, though none speak of it aloud. We pray harder, but our prayers seem to echo back to us unanswered." The deaths of Sisters Ma